Disclaimer. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting or changing any health, wellness, or supplement routine. Today we are diving into the world of GHRP2, also known as growth hormone releasing peptide 2. This compound has fascinated researchers and biohackers alike for its ability to stimulate the release of growth hormone from the pituitary gland. Over the next 45 minutes, we are going to explore its history, its mechanisms, its benefits, and its potential side effects, all in a conversational way that helps you really understand what GHRP2 is all about. Let's start at the beginning. GHRP2 was developed as part of a class of synthetic peptides designed to mimic the natural ghrelin hormone in the body. Ghrelin is often called the hunger hormone, but it also plays a major role in growth hormone release. Scientists discovered that by designing short synthetic chains of amino acids, they could create peptides that activate the ghrelin receptor and stimulate growth hormone release. GHRP2 is one of these. When GHRP2 binds to the ghrelin receptor, it triggers a cascade that signals the pituitary to release more growth hormone. What makes this interesting is that growth hormone itself is crucial for tissue repair, metabolism, body composition, and overall vitality. The increase is pulsatile, meaning it happens in bursts, much like the body's natural rhythm of hormone release. Now, let's talk about why someone might be interested in this peptide. Growth hormone naturally declines with age. By the time most people reach their 40s or 50s, their baseline levels are significantly lower than they were in their teens and 20s. Lower growth hormone levels can mean slower recovery, less lean muscle mass, more fat accumulation, and less energy. GHRP2 can temporarily restore some of that lost signaling. One reported benefit is improved recovery from exercise. Because growth hormone contributes to muscle repair, some people find they bounce back faster from workouts when growth hormone levels are higher. Another common report is improved sleep quality. Growth hormone pulses naturally during deep sleep, so enhancing its release may support more restorative sleep cycles. Then there's metabolism. Growth hormone plays a role in lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat. People exploring GHRP2 sometimes notice fat loss, particularly visceral fat loss, which is the type stored around the organs. This makes it especially intriguing for metabolic health. But let's also pause and be realistic. Not all effects are guaranteed. Research is ongoing, and while there are promising studies in animals and humans, much of the knowledge about GHRP2 comes from experimental and off-label use. That means caution is needed. Dosing of GHRP2 is another key point. Researchers studying it often use microgram-level doses rather than milligrams. It is typically delivered through subcutaneous injection. Some protocols involve multiple doses per day because of its short half-life, often around 15 to 30 minutes. This rapid clearance means timing can matter. Some pair it with other peptides like CJC1295 without DAC to extend the growth hormone pulse. An interesting comparison can be made between GHRP2 and its cousins, such as GHRP6 or Ipamorelin. Each of these peptides acts on the ghrelin receptor, but with slightly different strengths and side effects. GHRP2 is known to be one of the stronger growth hormone secretagogues, but it also has a higher likelihood of increasing hunger because of its ghrelin mimicking effects. Let's spend a moment on hunger. Ghrelin is nicknamed the hunger hormone for a reason. It stimulates appetite. Some people using GHRP2 report intense hunger pangs shortly after administration. This can be useful if someone is undereating or struggling with appetite during illness, but it can also be a downside if weight control is the goal. Another aspect worth exploring is synergy. GHRP2 is often combined with growth hormone-releasing hormone analogs. The idea is that one peptide, like CJC1295, primes the pituitary, while GHRP2 triggers the release. Together, they can have a stronger effect than either one alone. This mimics the natural interplay in the body between ghrelin and growth hormone-releasing hormone. Now, let's consider safety and potential side effects. Some reported issues include increased cortisol and prolactin levels, since GHRP2 can stimulate more than just growth hormone. For most healthy individuals, these effects are mild, but they could be problematic in certain medical conditions. Other side effects sometimes reported include water retention, numbness or tingling in the extremities, or temporary flushing. Because growth hormone influences blood sugar, another potential side effect is changes in insulin sensitivity. While growth hormone can promote fat burning, it can also make the body less efficient at using glucose in some cases. That's why careful monitoring is important in clinical settings. On the research side, scientists have been exploring GHRP2 not just for athletic or anti-aging purposes, but also for potential roles in treating conditions like growth hormone deficiency, cachexia, and even cardiac issues. Some studies suggest benefits in cardiac tissue repair and protective effects on the heart. These avenues are still experimental, but they highlight the broader potential of peptides like GHRP2. Now, let's look at the user experience. People often describe the effects of GHRP2 in terms of feeling a rush of hunger, followed by better pumps in the gym, improved recovery, and deeper sleep. Others say they notice more vivid dreams, which might be linked to its influence on sleep stages. Still others say they feel younger or more energized. Of course, results vary and depend heavily on the individual. Another interesting angle is how GHRP2 fits into the peptide landscape today. With newer compounds like Ipamorelin, which tend to cause less hunger and fewer side effects, some people prefer alternatives. Still, GHRP2 remains a staple for many experimenting with growth hormone secretagogues because of its potency and reliability. For a practical example, imagine someone in their mid-40s who is active but struggling with slower recovery and increasing belly fat. They might research GHRP2 as a way to boost natural hormone signaling. If they combine it with regular training, healthy eating, and proper sleep, the idea is that GHRP2 could help optimize the body's own repair systems. But again, this is always in the realm of experimental use and not mainstream medical advice. Let's take a deeper dive into its mechanism. Growth hormone-releasing peptides like GHRP2 act through the ghrelin receptor, officially known as the growth hormone secretagogue receptor. When activated, it not only boosts growth hormone but also influences appetite, gut motility, and even mood in some studies. Ghrelin signaling has been linked to reward pathways in the brain, which might explain why some people feel a subtle shift in well-being. The short half-life of GHRP2 also makes it unique. Unlike a long-acting compound, it gives a quick burst and then clears. This mimics the natural rhythm of hormone pulses and is less likely to cause the constant elevated levels that can lead to desensitization. However, it also means more frequent dosing is needed to maintain the effect, which can be inconvenient. Let's also touch on legality and accessibility. GHRP2 is generally not approved for medical use outside of research. It is often sold through research chemical suppliers with disclaimers that it is not for human use. This legal gray area means quality can vary and risks can be higher compared to pharmaceutical-grade medications. Despite these hurdles, the interest in GHRP2 continues because it taps into the body's own ability to heal and regenerate. Unlike injecting synthetic growth hormone, which floods the system with the hormone itself, GHRP2 encourages your own body to make more. Some argue this approach is more natural and potentially safer long-term. There are also anecdotal reports of improved skin health, joint recovery, and even cognitive benefits when growth hormone levels rise. These are harder to measure, but highlight how interconnected growth hormone is with many systems in the body. At this point, it's worth remembering that lifestyle factors remain the foundation. Good nutrition, consistent sleep, strength training, and stress management all support healthy growth hormone levels. GHRP2, in theory, acts as an amplifier to those efforts, but it can't replace the basics. Another piece of the puzzle is stacking. Some people stack GHRP2 with peptides like BPC-157 or TB-500 for recovery and healing, or with fat loss peptides like AOD-9604. These combinations are all part of the broader peptide biohacking trend, where individuals design personalized regimens based on their goals. Of course, with more complexity comes more uncertainty. The science is still catching up, and while early data is promising, we don't yet have the long-term studies to fully understand the risks or benefits. That's why it's important to approach peptides with respect and caution. Let's recap. GHRP2 is a synthetic peptide that stimulates growth hormone release by mimicking ghrelin. It is known for strong effects on hunger and growth hormone release, with potential benefits for recovery, fat loss, sleep, and overall vitality. It has a short half-life, requires multiple daily doses, and is often combined with other peptides for synergistic effects. Potential downsides include hunger, increased cortisol or prolactin, changes in insulin sensitivity, and other hormone shifts. The future of peptides like GHRP2 will likely depend on ongoing research. As scientists uncover more about the ghrelin receptor and growth hormone pathways, new analogs may emerge that retain the benefits while reducing the drawbacks. Still, GHRP2 has earned a lasting place in the peptide discussion. Disclaimer: this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting or changing any health, wellness, or supplement routine. Thanks for listening, keep learning, and stay curious.